about that. But then when I get to the weaknesses, I don't say, what are your weaknesses? I learned that from another leadership coach. The other leadership coach I learned that from was Tom Rath. Tom Rath wrote a book called Strength-Based Leadership. And in it he says, I don't want you to concentrate on your weaknesses. You already know that they're there. I want you to figure out how you can make your weakness a strength. That's the different one. That's how do I now look at my weaknesses as a strength? You have to define what your weaknesses are. And then after you've defined them, you have to say, okay, now, if one of my weaknesses is I'm not a morning person, but some of your meetings are in the morning. I'm not a morning person. So what are you going to have to do? And I love Starbucks, so that's my favorite spot. So what I'll do is, if I'm not a morning person, I'll say, okay, let me set that I'll get my white venti mocha with extra whip and extra hot at 7 a.m. because I have a meeting by 8:30. So I'll go to Starbucks at 7, sit down, have my white mocha, enjoy my white mocha, and use it to prepare me for my 8:30 meeting. Flip that weakness of not wanting to get up in the morning, not wanting to work out in the morning, not wanting to do something. Flip the weakness into a strength, and it absolutely changes you as a brand. So we got to look at what are your strengths. You define them. Your weaknesses. How do you make your weaknesses a strength? Your opportunities. The opportunities piece is interesting. The opportunities is now how many people can you now use that strength on that was a weakness? Opportunities says, okay, how do I now become better? So now what I would do is I'll say a couple of my fraternity brothers, listen, you guys meet me at Starbucks at 7 o'clock. Let's look at a different way that we can impact the youth in this particular subdivision. And now we're all there at 7 o'clock in the morning, having our white chocolate mochas, extra hot with extra whip, at Starbucks when we're not morning men. But now we're meeting and changing a weakness to a strength, and that weakness is being changed to a strength to impact a community that don't even know us. I'm telling you, when you look at that as the basis of your originality, it begins to change how you think about what you might think a weakness is, because really a weakness may not be a weakness, it might be your opportunity to become a strength. And then the T is threats. Now, this is different also, because in the business sector, we look at threats of other businesses who can take our business or impact our bottom line. For us as leaders, this threat piece is important to you because it says, what are the threats that I am infringing upon myself that affects me negatively? What threats have I? So here's one of the threats. I have certain people that I can engage with at certain levels, but if I need to be energized or uplifted or affirmed, those are not the people I call. That's not them. So think about that. Just because you're family, that don't mean I got to answer the phone. Go to voicemail. And for you, depending upon where you are in your leadership, for some people, they need to go to voicemail. Because what it will do, once you talk to them, it'll mess up your entire day. It'll mess up your, not that you don't love them, but you're trying to level up. And when you begin to level up, there will always be people, family, friends, there will always be people who like you at this level because they can control you at this level. Y'all feed into the same stuff at this level. But when you level up, you don't even eat the same way. When you level up, because now nutrition becomes important to you. Because now you have to be able to endure. What you take in is not the same thing. Well, I used to have 4 glasses of wine, now I don't do one. Because you're now more alert and keenly aware of where you're going. I'm telling you, when we look at threats, there are threats that we infringe upon ourselves that even other people don't infringe upon us. And then we accept them. I say, no threats, no regrets. That's how I live now. No regrets. If I made a mistake, I made it. It's done. I can't change it then, but I can learn from it. And now, not let that be something that continues on in my development. Original. Be your original you. Very, very important. In your original state, there are some questions, and you guys have all heard this before, but there's some questions you must ask yourself. And in my book, I talk about, in your 90-day challenge, ask yourself, who am I? What do I want to become? Not who do I want to become, what do I want to become? Where am I going? Or where do I want to go? Because you can be right now in transition. You don't know the destination, but you're moving. When do I want to see any significant change in my life? And that's why I give you a 90-day rule. In 90 days, I want you to see significant change. 3 months. That's a quarter. Some of us back in the day when we got jobs, you had to wait 90 days just to get benefits. But you stayed on the job to get the benefits. You kept working and coming in. You tried not to be late. You tried to make sure you got back on break on time. You can do a 90-day challenge. You've done it so many ways before. So we ask, who am I? What am I becoming? Where am I going? When do I want to get there and see change? And then the last part is why. Why do I think I can level up as a boss? Why do I think I can change and be even better than where I am now? Why? And these questions provoke you. So in the book, I give you some tenets to walk by. I ask you questions like, who are you right now as you read this? Are you angry? Are you mad? Are you offended by somebody? Are you desperate? I make you answer the question because what we do at the end of it is find out this is who you are right now. But watch this. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to become? Change is inevitable, but we can help change. We can institute change. And so it's amazing when we talk about your originality. So those are the things I want you to think about. Think about the fact that your SWOT analysis is going to help you become better. Because this part is about you. It ain't about anybody else. It's about you. And then the other thing is ask yourself, who am I and what and where and when and then why? That 90-day challenge that's in this book, it purposely moves you in 90 days to be a completely different leader. In 90 days. Stuff that you already have in you develops to a different level. That you already have. Not even that you got to go get. What you already have changes in just 90 days. So we talked about balance. We talked about being original. And now we go to the first S, which is sane. Sane. Sane is the first S. Now, what's interesting about sane is I go back to Tom Rath's book too. One of the things that's great about this book is in his book, he talks about 4 domains of leadership. There are 4 domains of leadership strength. So there are 4 domains. Now, under the domains is the whole categorized piece, but I only want to hit the top level. There are 4 domains of leadership. Now, he talks about every leader operates somehow in these domains at different levels. Domain number 1, executing. These are the people that if you give them a task, they will complete it with little to minimal supervision and give you a product at the end. They're executors. They can put on events. They can complete tasks. They can do all these kinds. They execute at a level of proficiency that once you know you can give it to them, you don't got to worry about taking it back because you know they're going to complete it. You already know that. There's some folks that you give something to that you have to follow it 20 times. Yep. That's draining on a leader to have to come back and forth. Domain number 2, influencing. There are people that when you hear them, when you see them, they can walk by you and they influence you to be different, better, or to even create change. I remember one time I was at a conference and this guy walked by, and at that time I used to wear regular ties. And he walked by and he had what we call a double Windsor tie. Do you have a double Windsor tie? Is that what you have on now?
This is a Trinity knot tie.
Yeah. See, double, Trinity, quadruple, quintuple. I couldn't tie it, and I tried my hardest to try to learn how to tie it. It was so fly. I was like, dude, that looks amazing. You did that with a regular tie? Like you didn't add some material? So now I do the regular tie I did. I couldn't get it. I was influenced. So because I couldn't get the double Windsor knot, I went to bow ties. And now I teach people how to tie bow ties. Men come up and say, listen, how do you do that? Now I'm going to be teaching a class even at my church with our men's ministry. Here's a bow tying session for you. So what I couldn't get in a Windsor knot, I found purpose in a bow tie. All I'm saying is, what you look at, your sanity can't be affected by other people's stuff. Other people will make you think, well, you can't get it, and you figure out that's your insanity. It's not going to become my insanity. That's your stuff. It needs to be your stuff. But the domains of influencing, I was influenced by a Windsor knot to become a specialist in a bow tie knot. So whatever influences you encounter and the people that have a way of impacting you, take it and you apply it to you. I do not have to know how to tie a double Windsor knot. But I can tie a bow tie with my eyes closed. Take what the influence is and use it to your advantage to develop and enhance your skill set. Number 3, relationship building. These are the kind of people I consider Tara a relationship builder. Tara has the ability to talk to folks, even people who are difficult, and they like her. Like they want to be around her. Relationship builders are the people who are sensitive to the emotional needs of other people. Now, every leader is not like that. Y'all know that for a fact. I had a leader that only wanted your ideas and would not even give you credit for it. They took the ideas, passed it off to senior management, and senior management gave them a bonus and credit for my idea. And I had to work on Saturday. And they are at the beach with my idea that they got a bonus from. When that happened to me, now you're going to have things that will happen to you in your leadership development that you're going to have to determine, okay, how do I navigate? Because you can't let people prostitute your potential. Mm-hmm. If they prostitute your potential, then they can claim your purpose. Mm-hmm. Never let people prostitute your potential. My new phrase is, you can't prostitute my potential. You got to pay for it. Mm-hmm. You can't prostitute my potential. You won't have to pay for this. It's important. And I got that concept from watching the movie Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman. Who she was as a prostitute was not who she was as a person. That's what she did. It wasn't who she was. You can't prostitute my potential. You got to pay for this.
Yeah.
Relationship building. And the last one is strategic thinking. Strategic thinking are the people who can see a vision, cast the vision, and then bring people along to help fulfill the vision. See the vision, cast the vision, and then bring people along to fulfill the vision. People who are strategic leaders, they operate up here a lot of times. Sometimes they can't see the stuff down here. Now it's funny because I use this as an example. When Tara and I and Mark, and we did the leadership conference in DC last year, I'm the dude who I can see what I want it to look like. I don't want to put the ink pens in the bag and put a business card in the bag and then pull the bag nice and tight and then set it on the table. And I won't do that because I feel like somebody who's good at this and who likes it can do it better. I am begrudgingly doing it because it's a team effort. How many of you have been on team projects and you like, if you don't do your part, you go off fail? Mm-hmm. Any of y'all have taken your master's degrees or bachelor's and you have to do group projects? It's always one.
Yep.
It is always one.
It's true.
Don't meet the deadlines, not on the phone call, don't meet at the library, don't get online to help stuff. And somebody always has to pick up the slack.
Yep.
For the one. And the one still get the grade that the group.
Yep.
Yeah. I done had many contestations with a professor. Mm-hmm. Listen, I oppose this rule. This is dumb. Give me my own assignment and let me be responsible for my own. She ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing nothing. And you give us the same grade?
Yep.
Watch this. One of the things Tom Rapp talks about in strength-based leadership is how do you leverage the leadership of the team so that you ain't going crazy because folks not doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
How do you leverage the team skill set so that you don't go crazy and insane because other folks are not doing what they're supposed to do? So when you talk about sanity, one of the things that's important to understand is that you can't allow what people do, other folks do, affect who you are and who you become. You've got to maintain your sanity and you've got to maintain your focus because your sanity is important because people need you. Now, we go from balanced to original, to being sane, to self-sufficient. Now, self-sufficient doesn't mean you can do it all yourself. That's not what this, in boss, that's not what it means. Self-sufficiency asks you one question. What do you have to offer? That's it. That's it. It ain't deep. It ain't some big revelation. All it says is, what do you have to offer? Now, John Maxwell is one of the gurus in leadership development. But when he wrote this book, and I read it, there was something interesting that came out that affected me with boss. So he says there are 5 levels of leadership. Position, permission, production, people development, and pinnacle. Pinnacle. Top. At the pinnacle. Can you even say that one more time? Yes. Here we go. 5 levels of leadership: position, permission, production, people development, and pinnacle. Now, in his book, he talks about all these different facets of each of those areas. You know, I'm a college professor, so I like to do short summaries. Give me the end result. Where we going? Because I can't read 25 of these. Where we get? So what I got out of the book was, well, what do you have to offer? Whether you're in a pinnacle or the people development, what do you have to offer? Whether you're at permission or any of the other two, what do you have to offer? So what I got was, when we get to the self-sufficient stage, here's what's important for us. We've got to know what we bring to the table. Now, we talk about what you bring to the table when people are trying to get in relationships. What did he got? Where his family from? Or where's she from? If you're going to be a boss, you've got to know what you bring to the table. One of the first things we did as a leadership team was we did an assessment that says, what do you bring to the boss leadership team? What is your add? We know you're great by yourself, but what do you add? And the first thing I said was, I bring inspiration. When you encounter me, you will have an experience where you're impacted by something I've said and done that encourages and inspires you to go back and try to change something in your own life. I like inspiration. Tara brings something. Mark brings something. It was amazing that once we started fleshing this stuff out, we was like, wow. So I like what you bring because it adds value to what I bring. What do you have to offer people? This is the simplest of all of them. This is the simplest. Why? Because you don't need nobody to quantify it. You don't need nobody to qualify it. You should already know what you bring to the table, and you don't even need nobody to touch and agree. You don't need none of that. What do you add? What do you bring? And when you know what you bring, here's some things that happen with what you bring. Now, when you know what you bring to the table, you become, and I mentioned it earlier, and I'm going back to it, and I said I would, you become a resource. You become a resource for other folks because you already know what you bring. You already know what you bring. You become a resource. Now watch this. Not only do you become a resource, but then there's a term that I created that I teach from called the multiplicity effect. EFFECT. Multiplicity. MULTIPLICITY. Multiplicity effect. Here's what the multiplicity effect is. When you know what you bring to the table and you become a resource, when you become a resource, you have the ability to impact the lives of other folks, and they multiply the impact from you to people you will never meet. It's almost like you come, you hear something, watch this, I'll do it a different way. We plant a seed in the ground, the seed takes root, it's watered by nature, the root begins to create bark, and then the bark creates a tree, and then the tree creates branches, and then the branches create leaves, and from the branches come fruit, and guess what happens? What do we start with? Seeds. But watch what happens when it comes to full fruition. The tree now houses birds, and birds' nests, and birds' families. Insects can live in a tree and thrive. The tree produces shade. Do y'all see where I'm going? If you know what you bring to the table, you're not just a seed, you have the multiplicity effect. You change people you will never encounter. The birds had nothing to do with the seed. The bees had nothing to do, the fruit had nothing to do. Your seed of self-sufficiency has the ability to have such an effect on people you will never encounter because of those that you do encounter. Because every time people touch you, talk with you, engage with you, you plant a seed in them that creates a multiplicity effect in the lives of other people you will never meet. When we become self-sufficient, we learn to know what we bring to the table, and what we bring to the table has a way of changing the lives of everybody around us. Boss, balanced, original, sane, self-sufficient. We're looking for boss leaders. We want you to join our team. We're looking to expand our leadership team. We're looking to add boss people to the team, men and women from all over the place, so that as we travel and we do conferences and we do events and all the above, we have workshops where we might be in here for 40 minutes while other people are in another room getting trained by another leader for 40 minutes. We're getting ready to branch this thing off in 2019 such that we want to have a multiplicity effect in the nation to change people to become boss leaders. Now, as I conclude my piece, There are people who have been negatively affected by the word boss for years, generations even. How many of you had a bad boss, a horrible boss? Don't say no names. A horrible boss. Till this day. Now I'm gonna give you two scenarios as I begin to close this out. I'm gonna give you a scenario of a customer service experience I encountered that till this day I remember the lady's name. Never seen her again. All because she knew who she was and what she had to offer. Watch this. That's one scenario. Then I'm gonna give you a scenario about a bad boss and a good boss. Scenario about the two ladies. One is Ann and one is Jamie. Jamie worked at Krispy Kreme. Ann worked at Cracker Barrel. I go to Krispy Kreme because I want two for $14.99. 2 dozen of glazed donuts hot and now for $14.99. The special, I wanted, the light was on, hot right now. Skirt! I want the hot glazed ones right off the conveyor belt, dripping with glaze. I go to the register. I know what I want. I saw the light. Get to the register. Jamie is preoccupied talking with Robert about her boyfriend issues. Don't have nothing to do with hot now. I'm a customer. You see me at the register. I'm not invisible. I'm black. I'm standing there salivating. They ain't gonna stay hot long, y'all. We gotta get them while it's hot now. It's hot now. We gotta get them while it's hot now. You let us sit there conveyor belt 200. That cold air hit them jaws. I don't want a cracker. I want a donut. I want a Krispy Kreme. I don't want a Dunkin'. I want a Krispy Kreme. Because when you bite it, it begins to melt in your mouth. Listen. I told you I inspire you. I want to take you somewhere.
Yeah, there.
Y'all will never look at Krispy Kreme the same. Watch this. Jamie comes to the register as if I bothered her. Don't ask. She comes to the register like, hello, Jamie. I'm Nate. I don't have no name tag, but you do. Jamie, I want to order 2. Is that all you want?
Yeah.
Jamie? Yes. Can we get that? That's what I would like, what have you. She puts the order in, brings it up, what have you, goes back and finish talking to Robert. Does not even put the, now if you go to Krispy Kreme, when you want to get them hot now, they put the donuts in the conveyor belt. So they dip them on a little stick, put them on the conveyor belt, and it goes down the conveyor belt. Some more glaze hits it, so it's nice all the way around. Comes out the end, and then they take their little box and open it, and they take them off with the little stick and put them in the box. Close it up, bring the box to the register, put them in the bag, and you can leave. Jamie goes talking to Robert. I don't have no hot now. So I ended up waiting, and I was waiting and didn't say anything because I was like, how long is she going to render poor customer service to a potential repeat client and not give me due respect? I said, Jamie, cancel my order, give me my money back. I'll call corporate. Well, sir, Jamie, cancel the order and give me my money back. I'll call corporate. Have a good day. Bad experience with leadership. Because somebody had to train Jamie how to use register. Somebody had to train Jamie how to put the donuts in the conveyor belt. Somebody had to train Jamie where to put the temperature to make sure they're hot and now and not cold and later. Jamie went through some leadership training. So listen, when people are at a cash register, don't mistake the fact that they're young or even that they're old. They've gone through some leadership training to do that. So you should have an expectation of them. Especially if they're going to take your cash. You should have an expectation. And sometimes we dismiss leadership because it doesn't look a certain way. Every day we encounter leadership. When we walk out of here, we're going to have leadership. When the girl at the front register, we're not checking into the hotel. She said, well, goodbye, have a good day. That's leadership. That's called hospitality. They used to teach it in college as a whole degree. Hospitality management. How to be nice to folks who ain't nice to you. But I go to Cracker Barrel and I meet Anna. Anna comes to the table. Anna says, baby, what you want to drink? I said, well, I don't know, Anna. I haven't looked at this yet. And I was like, can they say baby now in corporate America? I thought it's like rules that you can't be all, those kind of influences. She was like, well, honey, here go the drinks right here. And this is how she's talking. Well, honey, here go the drinks right here. I'll be right back. Let me get these people some forks. And I'll be right back. And I was just like, okay. She came back. Honey, you know what you want to drink? I said, I think I want some tea, but I'm not sure if I want lemonade. She was like, baby, let me tell you what's with the lemonade. They made the lemonade earlier today. They always make it fresh, but it's at the bottom of the barrel, so they have it in the new one. You don't want that lemonade. I said, wait a minute, Anna, you work here, baby. You're not supposed to tell me that. And it was like, you don't tip me, right? I need to make sure I give my customer the right type of service that they need so they'll come back to me.
Come on, Miss Anna.
Anna, the last thing I told you about self-sufficiency, you gotta know what you're offering. Anna said, I offer customer service and truth. By the time I was doing Cracker Barrel, Anna had made sure my napkins were supplied and replied. Anna made sure, she said, if these ain't enough dumplings, I'll bring you an extra plate, we won't charge you. Anna said, do you want another refill? I'll bring you a glass of ice, just so that if you want to just have your glass of ice and keep it cold. Anna did stuff that Nick didn't ask for. Because Anna knew her self-sufficiency. Anna knew her worth. But she wasn't going to let somebody put a value on her worth, because she already knew what it was worth. Anna, Jamie, both service industries, completely different value of who they were in their self-efficacy or self-sufficiency. Do two different things. I had a boss when I was in Connecticut, and this is where I conclude. In Connecticut, and you can learn leadership anywhere. In Connecticut, I worked for Burger King for 3 years. I loved working for Burger King. Loved it. One of the best jobs. I can't remember his name, so I'll just call him Bill. Bill was my supervisor. Bill was always disheveled. Clothes looked like he just pulled them right off the floor. Come into the office, he looked like he didn't clean up well and worked for a burger company. Bill smoked cigarettes in the office. Complete violation. How you gonna smoke cigarettes in the office by the food? Complete violation. But Bill was a master people developer. He knew how to develop people well. So he says, well, he calls a meeting with all of the team and says, the other Burger King has been outsourcing us. And I think I know why. We don't have the right team together. So we have the wrong people working the right shifts. So we have the wrong people working the right shifts. Y'all caught that? Mm-hmm. The wrong people working the right shifts at Burger King. Because the shift's going to bring the people to come eat. Mm-hmm. Friday night, club night. Saturday night, party night. Sunday after church. They're going to get the people. But the wrong people were working the window and the front counter. They had the slow people on the burger grill so nothing was getting made in enough time. Watch what he said. He said, if I change the squad and create my own Suicide Squad. If y'all saw Suicide Squad, the movie, it was made up of rejects, killers, all kind of folks. Will Smith is up there, a whole bunch of folks. But when they worked well together, they were effective. Suicide Squad. He said, I'm going to create a Suicide Squad. He says, Nate, I need to change your shift from afternoon, because I used to do the afternoon. So when I get out of school at 2, I would go to work 3 to 7. He said, I need you to work late nights now. I said, what does that mean? I need you to come in at 6 and do a 6 to 11. I don't know if I like that shit. I know, but I need you to do that because we're going to work on something. Here's why he wanted me to work the night shift. Because he saw in me what I didn't even know, because I didn't see myself a leader then. He says, you have the ability to motivate people. I need you to motivate the night staff to stay awake, alert, and attentive, so that when we get the rushes in on the weekends, we can produce more results. I was like, okay, I can come and motivate and keep people encouraged, and also work the front counter and help out, because you can engage the folks. He puts a Latino guy on drive-thru who loves to talk. So when people would come through drive-thru, if they had an attitude or someone's right, he would talk to them and the people's whole disposition would change. He had the right person at drive-thru. Because if you came through drive-thru with an attitude with me, I'll just close the window and go on and wait till your food's ready. But he had the right person at drive-thru. Mm-hmm. He had the right person at the front counter. And then he pulled in this girl who was quick with her fingers to wrap and cook the food. You say how many? You need 6 Whoppers for the little football squad that's coming in here? I'm ready. Bring them in. Let's do this. She was a beast. It was quick. He changed the Suicide Squad and created this squad that in 3 months, working that shit for 3 months as a project, it wasn't even etched in stone yet. He wanted to see if it would work. As a project, we outpaced the other Burger Kings Because you put the right people in the right place. Jamie don't need to be working front counter at Krispy Kreme. Jamie need to be in the back stocking. Anna need to be working front counter at Krispy Kreme. Anna. So leaders, think about your as you boss up and as you level up, think about where we are, think about who you are, and think about what you're becoming, because it's absolutely amazing. So we're so glad to have you with us, and I'm honored that you're even with us today and took the time out of your schedule to be here. We hope you've gotten some nuggets. We would love to hear back from you, what have you. So we're gonna let Ramel close us out, but we're gonna just do a quick Q&A because we're even ahead of time, which is great. So we're gonna let Ramel come up